but we saw a tweet that was referencing some NFL scouts believe Drake Maye should actually be the number one quarterback in this draft, the quarterback from UNC, University of North Carolina. And we mentioned that this felt a little bit like a Mitchell Trubisky situation all over again. So, fans were not too enthused with our opinion on that. And apparently we were too vague. Apparently we were helmet scouting. Apparently we didn't know our shit. We don't know ball. People attacked our families. No, I'm just kidding.
I got death threats.
Yeah, no, I don't know how they got our address. It was weird. No, I'm just kidding. What was worse is they got the wrong address. It was close, but it was just really weird. Anyway, no, so we thought it might be interesting to take that conversation to the podcast. So, B, give me your thoughts. Is this another Mitchell Trubisky situation? Is Drake Maye going to be the next Trubisky? And tell me what you think here about this.
I feel like no. I feel like Drake Maye is a better prospect than Mitch. So I think he has more like talent, right? But would it be very ironic if somehow Drake Maye is the first quarterback off the board in 2024? Yes. Now I'd say that with a little bit more of a grain of salt after like Caleb, Williams. Sorry if I can speak. Threw like three picks.
It sounds like a record that just goes Williams.
Yeah. I'm gonna cut that part out.
You leave that in.
No,
that's gonna be our next drop. Every time we go
yeah, Caleb threw like 3 picks against like the Notre Dame defense, which would look like very bad. And before I was like Caleb's head and shoulders above Drake Maye, right? Better, right? Just like how Watson was better than Mitch, but Deshaun Watson was like the second quarterback off the board. Bears took Mitch first, or I guess second overall, but first quarterback off the board. But do I think Drake Maye would have a better career than Mitch? Yes. I think he has way more experience. I think he has better talent. So do I think that they're the same skill level? No. But would it be funny if Drake Maye's first quarterback off the board in 2024? Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah. God, where do I want to start with this? Just keep it very on point here. Do I think Mitchell Trubisky and Drake Maye are the same prospect? No. From my understanding, and I want to put it as that because I have not gone and watched his film. To be fair, I haven't even watched most of his games. He doesn't pop up on my channels at all. And they never play one that interests me enough to go, oh, let me just tune into this UNC South, Northern, Western Carolina game. So I haven't watched much of him, but my understanding is that he's a really good prospect and should be better than Mitchell Trubisky. And the comment was more about what B touched on of, hey, wouldn't it be super funny and ironic if there was this clear number one great quarterback that's super athletic, big arm, was supposed to be like the top quarterback taken all year. And instead, this guy from North Carolina got drafted before him. To add a little extra layer of irony too, it'd be first quarterback should be taken as a black guy and end up being a white guy. Yeah. And Caleb Williams should be taken as the first quarterback, and instead this white guy from North Carolina got taken. Again, so many layers and levels of irony and hilarity and whatever else.
Yeah.
I think it would be funny just because I haven't seen anything about Drake Maye. I haven't heard anything about Drake Maye. I don't know. I have no idea what UNC's record is. I don't know if they're ranked, to be honest.
They are ranked. Yeah, but
okay, good. I was gonna say if we're talking about this and not ranked, this is ridiculous. But I mean, there's just nothing coming out about it. There's no highlight plays. And from my understanding, actually, initially he was struggling the first few weeks, and then I think it was Tez Walker. No, because he just played his first game this week, I believe. Some receiver came back, and since then he started looking much better, and his throws have been much better.
It was Walker. He went for 6 for 132 with 3 tutties.
Yesterday?
Yeah. So that was Walker, and then Drake Maye went 17 for 33 for 273 and 4 tutties. No picks. They were ranked 12th. They beat Miami
So
41-31.
he threw for 274 yards, and 134 of that went to Tez Walker.
Yep, so he threw for 273, 132 went to Tez Walker, correct?
See, that raises questions for me. Like, is it Drake Maye that's great, or is it Tez Walker that's great? And again, I don't have an answer for that. We will dive into his film and look and see what we think. But off the top right now, I haven't really seen him play to know that he's good enough to even be the number 2. In fact, it seems like in a lot of quarterback rankings this year, he's slipped and barely even gets mentioned in the top 10. Normally, it's like Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., obviously the Caleb Williams, Shedeur Sanders. It just seems like he's out of sight, out of mind right now.
Yeah.
So again, I still think it would be pretty freaking hilarious if
It would be funny
whoever.
as hell.
Yeah, especially, oh my God, could you imagine if it was the fucking Bears? The Bears tank the rest of the year. They get the number 1 overall pick. It's Caleb Williams. Pound the table. It's Caleb.
It has to be
And
Caleb.
first overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. The Bears select Drake Maye, quarterback, North Carolina. Oh, that would be so fucking funny. So sad.
It would be a conversation if Caleb keeps throwing like you can't throw 3 picks a game, dude. Especially a big game like that. Like limelights on you, prime time. Throwing 3 picks, and those picks were like bad too. Now, one of them was like tipped, but even the choice to throw it, dude had like 3 guys around him still. He had someone open like the right side. I know you and I were like texting about that play. Like if he would have stepped up in the pocket and threw it to like the right, the guy was wide open. So if he keeps throwing multiple picks a game, then sure. Like let's have that talk.
Yeah, but again, for right now, let's keep it in context. And we have our concerns about Caleb Williams, but no prospect is perfect. It doesn't exist. And maybe it should make us pump the brakes on the generational talk. But again, let's call it as it is. It's one game. There's no other game he's had 3 picks. There's no other games he's looked that bad. It could be a one-off. It could be a matter of him knowing his defense sucks and trying to play hero ball and forcing things that don't exist and, coming away like that. So again, to sit here and I don't. If a team went and took Drake Maye and said, "Oh yeah, we took him because Caleb Williams had 3 picks against Notre Dame," I think they'd be fired the next day. I don't think they'd be able to ever see Drake Maye play while being with that organization.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, so that's again to me, it would still be ironic. It would still feel like a Trubisky situation. And the funniest comment to me that I think we got, just like I know it confused the hell out of you, and I was reading and I was confused. So we had to have another person explain to us what the fuck this person was thinking. Was someone thought we were comparing it to a Myles Garrett situation?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, all of a sudden I was like, how is this anything like Myles Garrett? And I was like, who the fuck brought up Myles Garrett?
Yeah, and to be like, for guys, if you guys are watching this, any Tar Heels fans watching this, to be 100% clear, we're not saying Drake Maye is the same skill level and could be a bust like Mitch. We're saying it'll be funny if Drake Maye is the first quarterback off the board when there's clearly another guy as of right now who should be the first quarterback off the board. Kind of like how Mitch was the first quarterback drafted back in 2017 when he should not have been.
Exactly, and that's exactly what the comment was a reference to. Again, it's just wild to me how out of context it got taken.
I don't know what people are thinking. They're like, that's not obvious at all. I'm like, unless you're like 12, like everyone knows what the fuck we're like talking about here.
And I'll take it a little level further to calm any Tar Heel fans that may watch this or may see this pop up as a short or whatever. I don't even know Drake Maye well enough to sit here and determine, hey, he may be the number 1 overall quarterback in the draft. And we really don't know. We usually spend our time breaking down the draft picks a little more in the offseason when we have more time. But again, for all we know, he could be the number 1 quarterback talent. It still would be absolutely hilarious if for years we've been hearing about this guy, like we heard about Deshaun Watson. And then for finally come time to get drafted, and another team takes a UNC quarterback over the clear number 1 quarterback in the draft.
Yeah.
So,
would be funny.
Would it still be a Trubisky situation? Let me ask you this real quick before we wrap this segment up. Would it still be a Trubisky situation if, let's take an example, it's Bears Cardinals, right? Top 2 picks. Bears draft Drake Maye. Cardinals take Caleb Williams. If Drake Maye goes on to have a good career, he's a Pro Bowler, he's a starter, he's solid, he's generally a consensus of a top 15 quarterback within the league. But Caleb Williams goes on to win multiple Super Bowls and is considered a top 5 quarterback. Is it still a Trubisky situation to you?
Yes. Yes. Because if one guy goes off and wins tons of like titles and another guy's good, right, but still not winning titles, yes. Yeah. Because exactly what happened. I mean, Trubisky was just like a bust or whatever, but Mahomes went off and win titles, right? So like,
Yeah,
I want the guy. Yeah, but I get it. Mahomes wasn't part of that conversation. He kind of was like a sleeper pick, whatever.
Yeah.
He kind of exceeded whatever. But yeah, if the Bears pass up on a quarterback who goes off and wins titles, yeah, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
Even if Drake Maye is like top 10, top 15.
Well, again, I think people kind of forget because 2017 is kind of a while ago at this point. The conversation wasn't even about Mahomes.
Yeah.
It was who should go first. If I remember this conversation correctly, it was Lamar or Watson, because Lamar, the Louisville Clemson game, was such a spectacular showing to watch. I think it was like the final score like 40-something to 50-something on the last second play. Both quarterbacks are going back and forth, making great plays. Lamar had a Heisman. Watson ended up winning a Heisman. So I thought the conversation at the time for the first quarterback taken was between Lamar and Watson. And then for Mitchell Trubisky to be taken first was so funny and so out of pocket. And obviously Drake Maye has an entire another year of starts, better arm talent. I won't go too much for the next game. I don't want to start saying something and I have to walk it back later. But yeah, so to me, again, it does still feel like the Trubisky situation. And for anyone that didn't get that, read a book. Go read something. I don't know what to tell you. It seemed pretty clear and obvious to us.
Yeah.
And to the guy that got Myles Garrett out of that situation,
I don't.
Please, because you're critical.
And then the same guy followed up with like, well, at least Mitchell wasn't a rapist. I'm like, well, that is true. Like, but that's not what we're talking about here.
No, in 2017. Oh, like, oh man, this guy loves massages. That's kind of weird. In 2017, like now. Well,
my god!
Would you go back and draft OJ in the first round with what you know now? Probably not. He probably falls in seconds.
Let's just move on, bro, because we can talk about this forever. But it was so like out of left field. Like, oh, yeah, you're right. Indeed, he's not.
But let's turn this over to our viewers because they are spectacular. You guys tell us in the comment section, do you think if Drake Maye was drafted first before Caleb Williams, it would feel like a Trubisky situation to you? Let us know what you think. While you're down there, why don't you give us a like, subscribe, comment, turn on the bell for notifications. And until next time, I've been Emmett, this has been B, we're the RFL Show.